Hello everyone and welcome for another video of Love and Wargames. In this video we are going to unbox a Dweghom box for Conquest, the Lost Argument of Kings. And I'm really excited because this is the Ironclad Drake. And I only have like small foot Dweghoms for now, and this is the first massive miniature that I get. I did not get the Hellbringer Drake. It's not really my play style to use it, and this is really just a massive beast that will be at the center of your army, charge forward, and yeah, I just really love the style. So we're going to take a look at this massive box. We're also going to take a look at the rider that can be on top, because basically you have this dead Dweghom on it, and I think it will look cooler with this. We'll take a look at that as well. And before everything, we're going to take a look at this, which is has been sent to me by Parabellum as well, and this is a cloth map of Electria, which is apparently the name of the continent of Ea, which I didn't know, which is the main area that we know. I always said the world was Ea, but it's the first continent of Ea that we've seen so far. So quite interesting. Does it mean that there is going to be some more continent discovered later? I hope so. Just it's ready to be hung, used on a table, or even as a small blanket. So if you want to use the map of the world of Conquest as a blanket, it's approved by the editor. So without further ado, let's start to have a look at this map. The first thing that I can say is that it's really nice quality. It's not like a plastic map or paper map. Like I compare with the map of Dystopian Wars that you receive in the starter sets, and this is really not the same level of quality. This you can see through it. It's really like made of cloth. It does feel like a blanket or something like that. Okay, it's gonna be way too massive. I'm trying to think, can I zoom out so you see better? Yes, you will see better, but will it be enough? Maybe not. I was not expecting to be in front of the camera, but there it is. It is large enough that you can use it as a blanket or as a cape. Sure, you want to do that, but yeah, the quality is good, definition is fine, and yeah, just a nice map that you can get with everything, like the North in Mannheim, the 100 Kingdoms, the Badlands where you get all the Wadroons, Old Dominion, and just my dwarves that are in their little city. I will not annoy you with my homebrew stuff, but there is quite a bit that I wrote about them, and they are exactly here, my Dweghoms, next to the city-states. There is a whole history of them, but I will not annoy you anymore. But yeah, they are Dweghoms with a navy, which makes it quite interesting. All right, so very nice clothes, and yeah, I think if you have a gaming club or something like this, having this on the wall next is for sure going to add a lot to your games, to the atmosphere, or you can even use it if you want to make this new narrative campaign that they've expanded, to have your territory here and say, okay, I take this city there. Could be really, really good. Okay, now let's open the box of the Iron Drake. We will first have a look at the miniatures, and then we will talk about the rules and how to play it in game. First of all, let's say that the packaging is amazing. I'm not sure if it was always the case for the larger monsters of Conquest, but I've noticed this new, absolutely beautiful, very classy packaging for the Siegebreaker Behemoth. And yeah, it just looks so good from the front, and even the back is quite, I will not say minimalistic, but you just see the miniature and a few zoomed points. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what is inside, especially those banners. I love the banners in Conquest. They are very large and well made. Just hope, and this is a little teaser, I hope we can change the head. I don't like it that much, like this crazy head. It's fluffy, I know, but for example, the Hellbringer Drakes has a very nice, like fully helmeted, closed mouth head, and I hope this has this type of variant as well. Let's open it. Okay, that's a lot of plastic. Wow, this is huge, absolutely huge. I will try to see if there is any instructions first. Underneath all the plastic sprues, you have, of course, the base, which is massive. It's a monster base. As you can see, it's quite large. You have the card for the Ironclad Drake. Oh my god, it's so cool. They make such amazing art for the cards, and yeah, this looks like straight out of Final Fantasy or something. And the instructions, which might be useful to understand how to build it. Okay, let's have a look. First, we have those legs for the creature. Looking fine. I especially like this texture for the arms, which are like really spiky, which gives it a very hostile style, like appearance. And the head as well. Damn, it looks hungry. Like you could even put your finger in there if you want. Like this miniature is gonna be massive. Ah, this makes me happy. There is an alternate version of the head. Ah, I love this. This is good. This I like. With the closed eyes, and you just point it in the right direction from the rider, and you just make it charge. Makes more sense if you use the living Raegh on top of it, because if the creature is blind and there is a dead old Raegh on top, how does it know which direction to charge? I'm not sure. Maybe it has infrared vision or like the sonar, like a bat or something. Depends on the fluff. I'm not sure how the drakes, which type of animal they are, but I think they do need a real driver if you use this head. I do believe that it's actually the exact same head as the Hellbringer Drake. If you know if it's exactly the same, for those of you that have an Hellbringer Drake, let me know, but it really looks like a similar style. Maybe the mouth was closed for the Hellbringer Drake. I just don't want them to have exactly the same head. Yeah, I think the mouth was closed for the other one. Okay, good. But if you went with this type of head for your other Hellbringer Drake, having both of those is gonna look amazing. Then we have, of course, the banners, the other side of the angry head. And absolutely not, I told you the other side, it's another variant of the head. It's not the same. So you have 3 variants of heads. Okay, that is interesting, that is interesting. As you can see, this one has like this beard thing, which is dwarven, okay, with a little spike at the end. A little bit open mouth here like a tyrannosaur, and some armor here. If you compare with this guy, it's a lot more armored. Is it like mechanical mouth, and you have a spike there? Okay, that is quite interesting that you have so many variants. It does mean that if you want 3 Ironclad Drakes, you can absolutely have 3 different heads and 3 different variants, and it's gonna look great on the table. I know that Yesan, that you've seen on the table, did a tournament recently that I couldn't assist to, and he said like he faced 2 Hellbringer Drakes, and this was a terrible list to play against. Like, it was very strong. I think a full Drake list for the Dweghoms is gonna be fine. I also absolutely love this seat of power that is going to be there, and love this little engraving in the back. I hope you can see it well, but it's really good. And of course, the banners. This is, as you can see, if I can zoom so you can know, like, as you can see, it's a little bit out, and you can, it's gonna be easier to paint through this, either with a different color, or you can just hope, like, if you paint with contrast, it's gonna give a good result with these little things. And this, of course, looks amazing. We don't stop, and I love that they put instructions here, like what goes where. Very convenient. Those legs are massive. Wow, that's a thick thigh. Damn. Oh, this is the body. This is the body. Gonna be like, okay, but still, like, this is amazing. I love that they kind of like hammered some armor pieces on the side of the belly and stuff to make it tougher. The Hellbringer Drake is less armored, but this is an Ironclad Drake. It's in the name. Of course, they're gonna put armor all around, and it is going to look extremely armored at the end. Like, if we look again like this, yeah, there is very little flesh that is exposed. And okay, this is the 3rd head that we've seen, so you can see it is indeed like kind of like power armored jaws, which is a cool concept. Last sprue that you get is the dead Raegh. It's a new type, it's a dead Raegh. And yeah, you have the body here. It's just gonna be sitting, looking very dead. And this is the other part of the head that you might need. And yeah, looking good. More banners, more pieces of armor that you will put on the side, the other part of the body to put in the back, and more details for the throne. Okay, I didn't see the other health of the other heads. I will just check the instructions to make sure I don't tell you bullshit by telling you there are 3 variants. Maybe there's only 2. No, okay, indeed, I just missed them, but indeed there is head number 1, which was the first we've seen with the beard, pointy beard. Head number 2, my favorite, with the very armored eyes. Like, that looks so good. And head number 3, which is the one from the artwork, with the power armored jaw. Okay, then you get the massive body. It's gonna look so massive. Like, the creature itself, as you can see, like from when you start to build, the creature itself is very like aggressive looking, but it's when you put all the armor on top and it looks like this, it's such a massive thing. I have no idea how I'm gonna store this at home. it's way too big. I need to find a solution. And this thing is gonna be absolutely massive. Okay, that is it for the Drake. Let's have a look at the living Hellbringer pilot driver. Beast Master, I don't know what you call it. It's a much smaller box. And it's fully resin, of course. You do get the full package if you want to put it on the foot, I guess. Yeah, of course, you can use it as a normal Hellbringer on the ground as well. But yeah, good that they give you this. And okay, it's not a Beastmaster Raegh, it's a Bergont Raegh. And yeah, it looks very old and wise. And yeah, like a beast tamer, indeed. So you do get a few bits of extra stuff to put on top. This to show that he is the daddy. Well, this was probably an infant Drake that he killed. I guess that's terrible, actually. This is, okay, there's a little bit of flesh, but his main weapons, okay? And they're gonna go on this body. Quite a bit of flesh. Wait a second, I will clean a bit. I will use his own weapon to clean. There is a ton of details there. He is unarmored here on the shoulder, which is an interesting style. Very different from the other old Raeghs that we've seen so far, which were extremely armored. If you put it on the ground, like, it's gonna be hard to justify him having such a high defense value. You can just say like he's very tough and very agile and stuff. He does have, is it his feet? No, yeah, oh my god, okay. Such an attention to detail. They put in his shoes some little claws here because he's a rider. He needs to be stable as he jumps around on the side of the Drake to punch enemies and stuff. So he needs these kind of climbing gears. Such great attention to details. Okay, it might be difficult to paint if you want to be very much in detail, but with some contrast, this is gonna be so easy. Or similar paints. You have the choice between the dead Raegh or the cool Raegh to put on top. Which one should you put? It's actually a harder decision than you might think, because we're gonna have a look now at the data sheet of both the Iron Drake, and we're gonna see what what concessions you need to make to have him on the top. And actually, it's quite a tough choice. Let's have a look. Okay, before we make any comparison with other units, let's remember that the Ironclad Drake is 220 points, which is basically the most expensive unit, except maybe Dragon Slayers, which are the same price, which means that, damn, this is the elite of your elite, you can guess. It is cheaper than Hellbringer Drake, which is 180 points, 40 points less. That is a big difference. But as you will see, they're quite different. I will actually put both at the same time so we can compare very easily from the beginning. Movement 7, the same as the Hellbringer that many people played already with or against. The big difference is going to be that the Hellbringer is a shooty monster. I will not talk about the Hellbringer again, but basically it can really be in the back, see over your other unit because it's massive, and shoot anybody in range, which is quite a big range. 16 is nothing to scoff at. It can overcharge, especially if you put a Hellbringer Sorcerer on it, which is something that you always want to do with the Hellbringer Drake. We'll see the Ironclad, not always. And defensive-wise, which is what we're going to talk now, the Ironclad Drake has a better resolve, 1 point, interesting. But apart from that, that is going to be it. Same defense, same evasion, and it does have 3 more wounds, which might be a good difference, but that is it. So the Ironclad Drake is not that much tougher than the Hellbringer. It does have 3 more wounds, it has 1 more point of resolve, but don't think that it's a super tanky monster that will hold the center perfectly better than any other unit. It's more offensive oriented than, for example, a big blob of a whole Thanes, or for example of even initiates. So it is made to attack, okay, even though it can take a punch or 2 back. What it does have, it has Clash 3, so it's going to be Clash 4 when it charges, with 12 attack, and that means that it's really going to be a lot. It also has Relentless Blow, which means that each hit rolls of 1 will cause another hit. And that means that you can really like bury the enemy under an absolute deluge of attacks. At Cleave 2, which is really big, it means that you will get through a lot of the armor. Even in a mirror match against Dweghoms, where sometimes you could get a very high value of hardened. Here, it might be a little bit less impactful, but against any other army with very little access to hardened, Cleave 2 is going to be way enough. Cleave 3 is already like in overkill area against almost all the targets in the game. So Cleave 2 is really great. And you also have Terrifying 2. Terrifying 2 means you get -2 to your resolve value. So if you attack to something with resolve 3, which is already a fine value of resolve in the game, is only going to have resolve 1. So that means that you're going to punch a lot with a lot of attacks, 12. You're going to hit very well, Clash 3. So Cleave 2 is going to be way enough. 12 attacks, you're going to hit more because of Relentless Blow. You're going to have Cleave 2, so you're going to go chew right through the armor, and Terrifying 2, which means you're going to also chew through their resolve. That is huge. That is really, really huge. This thing is a cruise missile that is just going to impact something very well. Movement 7 is very high for the Dweghoms. And if you can make your attacks, wow, that is going to be crazy. The thing is, it also has impact 6, which means you're going to make 6 hits at brutal impact 2, so it's going to be equivalent to Cleave 2, also at Terrifying 2. And the big question you're going to have with the Ironclad Drake many time is, do I risk a charge, which means that maybe I will fail and then be exposed for a counter charge, or do I want to just make sure, like, to make a move then a charge, and to be kind of like safe and be sure that I will make my 6 impacts at brutal impact 2. Knowing that Relentless Blows does not work on impacts. It's only when you make a clash action. So the question is quite difficult. I would say 6 impacts at Clash 4, Brutal Impact 2 with Terrifying 2 is good against most target. But if you will expose yourself to a flank attack, or you're charging something really tough, like let's say it's Siege Breaker Behemoth, or another crazy Tyrannosaur, or a huge block of, I don't know, Dragon Slayers, I wouldn't make a move charge, because then you will maybe not do enough damage and then you will die to the counter charge. So really try to analyze. If it's a small unit that will be kind of like glued with you and you're not exposing yourself, move charge is a good way to go. Don't risk to not get the projection. And if you are against something very tough, you will need to make your charge and to make your attacks to really be sure that you do enough damage. So depends. Against very tough targets, I would say risk it, except if it's like a 5+ charge, like then no. But if it's like a 2+, 3+, 4+ charge, okay, do it, especially since you have Unstoppable, which means that you will reroll fatal charges. But yeah, I would say if it's a small unit, make a move charge. Another rule for the Ironclad Drake is Arm is Eternal, which means friendly characters and command stands only within 8 inches of this regiment count with Flurry. Flurry means you get a full rerolls on your clashes. It's one of the best rules in the game, Flurry. It really boosts you a lot. This is very good because the character stands of the Dweghoms are usually very good in combat, like most of them. They're between average to outright killing machines, in case of the Raegh, and command stands are also good. This rule of Arm Eternal goes very well with the also well-named Pursuit of Arm rule, which means that your command stands can declare dual actions. Which means that things like Dragon Slayers, or I don't know, old things, even like very punchy units, can be next to your Ironclad Drake and can declare duel, and then they will gain Flurry. And let me tell you that nobody wants to be in a duel against a Dragon Slayer command stand that can be boosted, as we'll see, that has a Flurry, because this command stand will obliterate any character that is not like a Nord's dedicated combat monster or something. So yeah, this is really a good combo. Do note that if you do not put the old Raegh as a Warlord on top of the Ironclad Drake, and you put, for example, the Ardent Kerawa, which is something I liked, I think that's what I played in our battle report, the latest one for Conquest, the Last Arguments of King, then all your friendly command stacks get +2 to their attack characteristic. It's always active. And once per turn you get +2 charge, which is really good also for your Ironclad Drake, because the turn you're gonna want to make this charge plus attack, this Ardent Kerawa is really gonna secure this charge for your Ironclad Drake, which can really be game changing. and this really combos well as well. So actually, I'm really liking the idea when I have an Ironclad Drake to have an Ardent Kawe as the Warlord. It combos very well. Dragon Slayer command stands with +2 to their attack characteristics, and there is some characters you can put, etc. to boost. And they secure their charge distance, and they make a dual accent, and they get flurry from being next to the Ironclad Drake. Again, it obliterates any character. Even the Nord special character starts to sweat a little bit when he has this in front of him. However, do note that only the Hellbringer can have the Ironclad Drake in its warband as a restricted option, and it means that it competes with things like Dragon Slayers and Stone Fortress are really good when they're going to be released. So it is in competition, yes, but you can find a place for them. You can absolutely make a single Hellbringer with as restricted Dragon Slayers and Ironclad Drake and make this little combo without having to buy a second Hellbringer. Very well. Then you might say like, okay, but in which situation do I want to have this Bergont Raegh to ride my Drake? And I'm like, I'm not sure. The Hellbringer is not as good a Warlord, I would say, as the other three. The Tempered Steel Shaper and the Tempered Sorcerer have very good creed, which is elemental potency, and the Ardent Karawa also has a creed. The Hellbringer does not. So you do lose quite a lot from having those guys. First, let's have a look at the literal benefit of having a Bergont raid. You get the Infernal Rider rule, the same as the Hellbringer Drake. You cannot seek escort. You do get quite a few nice little things, like you can refuse duel very easily. Do know that the monster rerolls failed defense rolled of 6, which is actually a big boost to your defense. It has defense 3, as we've seen. This can really secure your defenses. If you play against very high cleave enemies, it will not save you, because if you are at defense 1, rerolling 6s will not help. Even worse if you are at defense 0, but still. So this is a nice little boost, being able to refuse duel and to roll defense rolls of 6. And you gain Flawless Strike on your character stance, which means hit rolls of 1 count the target's defense of as being 0. I'm not crazy about this for 2 reasons. It's only for the character stance, so only for the Hellbringer, okay. But the Hellbringer already has, by default, cleave 1, so it's already fine. And if you want to make the Hellbringer a beast in combat, there are some relics that can put you like to cleave 3. And do you really need this then? It is a nice little rule, but it's not crazy. It doesn't boost the Ironclad Drake as much as, for example, a Tempered Sorcerer boosts a Hellbringer Drake. I would say like Hellbringer Drake is not that useful without a Tempered Sorcerer. I exaggerate, yes, I know, but it's such a good boost to have Overcharge as a draw action. Rerolling a defense roll of 6, you also get it on the Hellbringer Drake when you have the Hellbringer. Just getting Flawless Strike on the Hellbringer, it's like, if it was something like, I don't know, you double the range of the boost to give flurry to command stead and stuff, or you gave something else like a new bonus, more offensive capabilities for the Ironclad Drake, +2 to the charge, something. But Flawless Strike? Really? No, I'm not buying this. I would buy this if the Hellbringer was a little bit a better choice as a Warlord. And I know it has changed recently, but from what I see, and it's been like this so far, you cannot have a creed when you are a Hellbringer. And it used to be like fine, but now the Supremacy ability gives you a Mnemancer Apprentice for free. Good, you put it with a Dragon Slayer so the enemy cannot refuse duel, good. And the main capacity of the Hellbringer is that when a medium or heavy regiment with this Hellbringer inside is within an objective zone, you seize the objective zone, so you automatically capture it. It's good, don't get me wrong, especially at smaller points range. But when you're at 2000 points, it means you have 1 block that benefits from your Hellbringer being your Warlord. That's it. And if your Hellbringer is on the Drake, you're not part of a Dragon Slayer block or a whole Thanes block. So you do lose a lot for having him on top of your Drake. It looks cool. It looks cool as a normal way even, or as a special character, sure. But I'm not convinced at all by having him on top of this. You lose too much. The Ardent Kerawa has like this very good combo that we've seen. Like absolutely, this is a huge combo. +2 to the attacks goes well with the Ironclad Drake, +2 to the charge you wanted for sure. And the Ardent Creed means that the first time you become broken, you become unbroken once per your unit, which is fine. Like this is good. Like it's not crazy. It doesn't always win the game, but this is something like, okay, I do benefit from my whole army. Having the old Raegh like maybe seizing, and it's hard when you are inside the Ironclad. It's like you put all your eggs in a single basket, and we know how this can turn out. The elemental potency roll for those two guys is insane. You guys know the power of the Tempered Steel Sorcerer. It used to be crazy with Fire Skull, still very good, and now the Magma Skull might be the way to go. The Tempered Steel Shaper like is probably my favorite. You get so much healing with this. Every time you spend an elemental potency, you heal 1 wound for each potency marker, up to 3 wounds. Your very tough units are healing themselves all the time. That's so good. I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about Dweghoms, and I would love having a whole Raegh on the Ironclad Drake. I just don't see it now. So this little guy, you can buy this. As you can see, it looks amazing, but maybe don't glue it to the Ironclad Drake. Use it as a little character and stuff. However, the Ironclad Drake is for sure a good unit. It is very fast, very threatening, and it really fills a place for the Dweghoms. You did not have a very fast, very powerful unit. You do have the Steel Forge, which are about the same price, which are medium, but they are, they got, first of all, a little bit nerfed. They deserve that. You've seen what they did on the battle report. And they are more, they're less synergetic. They just do a good impact, kill someone, be tough, but they are less a centerpiece for your army. You can compare them with Dragon Slayers, but the Dragon Slayers are much slower. They are speed movement 5. They have about the same wound counts. They do have Ardent 2, which makes them tougher, but they're just less of a powerhouse in the sense that the Ironclad Drake with its 12 attack, like it's more like a T-Rex, it's more like a cruise missile. The Dragon Slayers, the enemy can really play around, try to flank them, etc, etc. Overall, I love the Ironclad Drake. I think it's gonna look, first of all, amazing on the table, and isn't like this kind of unit. Doesn't this Ironclad Drake make you want to start playing Dweghoms? I think it does. And it's gonna be an amazing centerpiece. It's gonna show a lot of presence. You can organize your army around. It's gonna look amazing. You can absolutely now make a full Drake list with Hellbringers in the back and Ironclads in the front. It's gonna be crazy. You put this Drake list against a full dinosaur list from the Red Ruin, it's gonna look amazing. And now I want to make a battle report out of this now that I say this, maybe later. And I love it. I just wish the whole Raegh was a little bit better. Still, very good, very solid, very powerful alternative to having some Dragon Slayers. And yeah, the one unit that I would compare it most is the Iron Inferno Automata, which are those guys that are put a lot of pressure turn 1 by being very fast and high impact. You want to impact them, they have a wild death. The Ironclad is a little bit similar in this sense. It arrives 2 turns later, but it's basically the same speed, has unstoppable, and it's just, if your Inferno can survive a couple turns until your Iron Drake arrives, it's just going to be a very high pressure list, where you can turn 1 have Inferno Automatas, turn 2 you have Steel Forge charging behind, turn 3 you have the Ironclad Drake, and then the enemy by turn 4 is like, please no more, I give up. Like it's a very, very aggressive and powerful list. Yeah, it should be very fun if you do play this. All right, I hope these tips have helped you to see what sprues you get inside, how you can play them, and that the tips also show you if you want this guy on the list or not. You can absolutely play without the Ironclad Drake. You can play a full footman Dweghom list, but this brings a lot of presence to the list. If you would like to buy this, by the way, we have a promo code with a Parabellum. Thank you, Parabellums, for this. And you can use the LOVE10 code, and it will give you 10% on this Ironclad Drake. And indeed, the Ironclad Drake is $130 or 130 euros. And so 10% on this, it's gonna be 13 euros. And 13 euros, let me tell you, it's at least one cocktail in Paris. I mean, that's because we pay our cocktails too much. It is a very important and interesting to get some discounts on such a big purchase. So absolutely do. You also again get 10% on this guy, but I would not recommend it except if you like the model, which I absolutely understand, and then you can play that something else. And I just realized it would be a very good the leader of the warriors. Yeah, the exemplar, I just checked the name, which I don't really am crazy about. I'm not really crazy about the model of the exemplar that you can buy right now. I do have this special one from the collector edition of the Dweghoms, but I think it's out of stock forever, and on eBay it must be at crazy prices. So it's hard to have a good model for exemplars. And this guy is gonna look like a perfect exemplar for your block of warriors. It's gonna look amazing in there. Yeah, I think like if you like the model, that is how I would proxy it as. Thank you very much for having watched until the end. Remember to give us a thumbs up, to like, subscribe, give a comment, share the video, all the YouTube stuff. And do note that if you put a comment, you also get a chance to gain an army for Dystopian Wars. Have a look on our video. I will not bother you with details, but basically you can get a lot of British and Canadians or a lot of French. And that is always nice. And it makes you a little introduction to another game that we cover in here. If you want some more battle report of Conquest, we're going to have a recording of one of them in January 2024. And by the time I need to edit and stuff and get my backlog back up to date, it should arrive, I think, in February. Thank you very much for having watched until the end. Remember to take care of all those around you and yourself, of course. And until the next video, also remember to keep spreading the love all around. Bye.